Con questo vi ringrazio per la vostra attenzione, resto a disposizione se ci fosse interesse ad approfondire questi dettagli e vi ringrazio.
I'm also the timekeeper. Okay, now we are to hear from Fernando Lopez Macari, the EFA Area President for the Americas, and he is the President of the Mexican Institute of Financial Executives. He will be sharing with us his views based on his experience and observations in his region. Fernando.
Thank you, Conchita. Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure for me to be here. It's a long flight, but it's a pleasure for me to be here. I would like to give a different approach to the other presentations, as Marco said, very specific goals and tasks that has to be followed to implement ASG on the companies. But I would like to think a little bit, to take a minute to think a little bit about how the world is changing and how new leaderships are coming around the world. And these leaderships, not only in Latin America, but in Europe and Asia and other regions, are more social leaders. People are getting mad. People are getting upset about how we treat other people, how we treat our environment, how unequal the conditions are between us. And this is a game changing for every organization. This is game changing for a country, for a leadership, for a political party, for everyone. And this has created an impact in such things like, I don't know, the Brexit, for instance, in Europe, new leadership in Mexico, Venezuela, Colombia. And it also, it comes down to leaderships that are challenging the way we traditionally do things. Leaderships that are challenging the system. And this is why I wanted to go back to this thinking and this reflection, because I think what we need to do, the next step now for the organizations, is to implement social responsibility, and for CFOs to take this into consideration in terms of strategic planning and implementations of new goals, new measures, new metrics that we need to take into consideration that were not in the CFO's radar before at this point. And this is why CFOs used to be only paying attention to numbers, finance, money. And somehow, now CFOs, we have to look at people, climate, wages, human rights, soft things that were outside of our scope. And now we have to learn. And now we have to change our role. And now we have to invest money in such projects that cannot be measured by return of investment, cannot be measured by capital. So this is how I would like to get us all into a different perspective, a perspective in which CFOs of the new era have to be aware of these conditions, and the corporations, the companies that do not implement such changes will be left out, not because of product, not because of price, not because of profit, but they will be left out because a lack of understanding the new rules, the new environment, the new way to approach things. This is a new era. This is a new approach after technology. It's people. People and how we treat people and how we treat our environment. This is, for me, the most important thing to understand at this point. There will be rules coming in, there will be social reporting coming in, and we will adapt as we adapted to everything else in the past. But we first have to change. Before we change our procedures and before we change our policies in the organization, we have to change the way we think. We have to change the way we see the world. And time is clicking. Time is ticking, and everyone who doesn't adapt will be left out. Thank you.